your personality and what you want to accomplish in life is different than mine. You may choose you're going to go work for a nonprofit. You may choose you're going to work for a startup. You may start your own business. You may work for a huge galactic company. You may work for the government. You can be fulfilled in any of those roles. I would encourage you, go try some and see what fits best. Next question. Yes?
I don't want them to leave without hearing about your love of public speaking as a young person.
I didn't tell that story here. Okay.
Right?
How many of you guys love to speak in public and would come up here and answer questions with me if you could? Raise your hand. That's great. That's awesome. How many of you would be deathly afraid to have to come up here and do what I'm doing right now? Raise your hands. I appreciate your honesty. Everybody else that didn't raise their hand is just like you, and they were afraid even to acknowledge it with a raised hand. I would have been that same way. I was deathly afraid to speak in public, and I turned down opportunities to do so. When I was 22 years old, I went to a class, just had started working for GE. The teacher made us all stand up and say 3 things. What's your name? What group do you work in? And why are you here? When I stood up to answer that question, I got my name out. I said I work with her, the person sitting in front of me, and then I just literally stammered until the teacher gently helped me back to my seat. And I'm not exaggerating. I went home on my birthday with the worst headache that I had ever had in my life. Gave me a migraine that literally made me sick. There's nothing that I enjoy doing more than speaking in public. I don't care if it's 20 or 30 or 200 or 300. It's a skill that I acquired over time from doing. And when I say I was afraid, I mean I was afraid. I think the lesson that you can take from it, the first lesson is, if you want to go far in business, you got to be able to do this. So if you want to, and you're shy about it, you're going to have to overcome it. Face your fear. Start small. Speak in front of 3 or 4 people. And you'll slowly build up. Recognize that when you get the first sentence out of your mouth and it sounds like your voice is cracking and you're almost in tears, you can hear it, but most people can't. Once you get the second out and you start to get a rhythm, you really will be fine. I think the larger lesson to take from it is, you will be a person someday that's not who you are now. You'll have skills and abilities and experiences that you don't currently possess. When you go out in the job market, or even in school still, don't focus on the person that you are and the limitations that you currently possess. Focus on the person that you could become. If I can speak in front of 300 people and take any question they ask me and feel good about it when I leave and have more energy than when I started, you can overcome any weakness or inhibition that you might have that's going to hold you back. It doesn't mean you're all going to be gifted orators. But you definitely, the greatest limitation that you face is self-inflicted. It's the limitations that you place around yourselves. I've seen that in business, not just in my own case, but in lots of other lives, that the people who put themselves out there and take a risk grow. You don't grow in times of plenty. You grow personally when you are tested. I didn't talk about the losing football team this time. Or maybe I did. I talk about the 1-8 football team. Well, without replaying the same story, I coached a team that only won 1 game this year. And I'd never had that experience before. It was an awesome experience. The kids were great. I became a better coach. And I make the highlight video every year to try to make a highlight video for a team that scored 30 points and won 1 game. It was rough. There were more punts than touchdowns on that video. And I thought I would start with some quotes just to kind of make the kids laugh. And the first quote I put up there was, "Winning isn't everything." No. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger basically saying something to the effect of, strength doesn't come through winning. It comes through the struggles that you have to face in life that makes you strong. And the next one was from, it was attributed on the internet, don't believe everything on the internet, to Vincent van Gogh. And it said, "Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing," which I always thought Vince Lombardi said. What Vince Lombardi actually said is, winning isn't everything, but the will to win is everything, which is true. And So I put Vincent Van Gogh up, and then I put a quote from our head coach, and I said, obviously Van Gogh knows nothing about football. The kids laughed at that. But what Arnold Schwarzenegger said was true, is that you are going to grow. Those sleepless nights, that's when you're going to grow as a person. When you're struggling with something, whether it's a decision you have to make or a situation you're in, that's when your mettle will be tested and you'll come out stronger than you were. If you go work someplace and you are never tested, you never struggle, you never have, well, one, could I get a job with you? But two, you won't grow. You absolutely won't. And so you can do two things. You can put yourself in environments that will help you grow because they'll test you and taking risks help. Or you'll sign up for things that you wouldn't normally sign up for. You'll lead that group instead of just being a quiet member of it. You'll volunteer to present when you really don't want to, because that will help you. You'll look back on your college career if you take these risks now, and you'll go, man, how much more confident am I and prepared for the workplace when I risk. Are we done?
No, we've got a couple more minutes.
Great.
How about one more question? Anything that wasn't answered on any of these?
We hit them all, I think.
Ian?
Yes.
The words that you have on the board back there, what would you say is like the biggest flaw in a worker of our age starting a job?
Oh, starting a job.
It doesn't have to be flawed. It could even be like I guess something that you need to work on.
The thing that I would want to accentuate, let me answer it that way. So you just got a job, you're new, you don't know anything. You lack confidence because you're working with people literally. Think you woke up tomorrow and you're working with me. Or somebody who's been in business for 10 years or even 5 years, and they have all of this expertise that you lack. And so you can't, let's not beat them, but you can't match them on this. And so what can you do? What do you think I'm going to point to over here? What could you do? Even if you were as dumb as a box of rocks. Had no experience.
You'd be motivated to learn and gain experience and put yourself out there.
Work hard. Be dependable. Show up on time. Stay late. Don't call in sick unless you're really sick. Volunteer for stuff. Show people through your effort, your hard work, that you're a gamer, that you're a keeper. They will start to rely on you. Even if they know, I'm going to send this person away and it's going to take them twice as long to come back with the answer as somebody else. They'll grow to like you. They'll grow to respect you because of your effort. So I would say, I'll point to these two. Well, attitude's hard to leave out. Have an awesome attitude. I'm going to use that one. That starts with A. I'll use that one first. Be positive. Don't be negative. Don't be cynical. Don't be whining and complaining and carping. Work hard, be motivated, and work well with groups. And if some of you don't work well in groups, others more so and others less, and that's, again, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses. Some of you who are really smart and really strong-willed, unless you're the leader of the group, struggle. Recognize that now, because you might get away with it here when you're the A student that other kids will naturally sort of take a back seat to. It won't work in the workforce when you're 22 and everybody that's working with you is older, more mature, and experienced. So learn how to sharpen your other skills and accentuate those.